It's going to be an amazing day. We're going to hopefully just look back on the last year and then look ahead as well. I want to take just about 15 minutes and have us just kind of just celebrate all that God has done in and through this university by looking at the people and the places that we've been. There's so much that people know Liberty as, you know, and certainly our facilities are bar none to any other in the world right now. We had $500 million worth of construction just in the last few years, over $1 billion worth of construction, you know, since I've been on staff. And I say that to say we could talk all day about the different facilities that are popping up left and right, but what really matters here, so much more than that, is what those facilities do. They equip the saints to do the work of ministry. They raise up the next generation of leaders. And I want us to start from last year's Lawnvo and end at today, this year's Lawnvo, and look at some things that God has done and really build this case that this has really been, we believe, our single greatest year to date. All right? So let's go through it together real quick. Pretty amazing. Let's start with athletics. This is our single greatest year in athletics. Our club sports, let's give it up for our club sport athletes. We're hugely successful. More than half of our club teams have qualified for nationals this year. 12 teams finished in the top 10, from wrestling to ultimate frisbee to lacrosse. We continued to dominate. Listen to this. Our women's hockey team didn't just win the national championship last year, they won it again this year. If you're one of our club sport athletes, stand up. Let's just thank them real quickly. Stand up. We're proud of you. You did a great job this year. Man, amazing. As far as our NCAA students, we entered the ASUN as a force to be reckoned with. We were all over SportsCenter because of the impact of our athletes. Let's watch some SportsCenter clips real quick.
Top place.
Let's do this.
Let's start with number 10 just today, though. Liberty hosting South Carolina State. Check out this one. The alley-oop to Caleb Holmesley. I like the guy. Oh, my! He had 13 points.
Radford and Liberty at 5. Base low to bottom 7. Amber Bishop. This is the first walk-off grand slam in program history. Good on you, Amber Bishop.
This is college tennis. We don't see a lot of college tennis on SportsCenter via the Twitter. Look at this. It's the Statue of Liberty. Hope that the guy smash hits my rocket play. Eddie Gutierrez.
Carolina. That's where Bobby Corbett lives. And number 1, Liberty and Wake Forest. Line drive. Liberty right fielder Aiden Carricker. Over the wall. And he held on.
Absolutely amazing. And of course, it wasn't just tennis and baseball. It wasn't just softball. Come on, let's give it up for our amazing basketball team. Both our men's and women's basketball teams had stellar years. Our women's team, in the very first year in the ASUN, went to the national championship game and just really made their mark. Our men's team beat Lipscomb at their greatest attended home game ever to go to the dance. Man, won the first round, and then obviously we're defeated by Virginia Tech. The irony on that was we began our entire season playing Virginia Tech at this very room. We raised almost 40 grand, $37,000 with this fundraiser that we did with Virginia Tech. And then, ironically, again, our very last game was against Virginia Tech. And although we lost both of those games on the scoreboard, they were such a win for us because in one, we raised all this money and funds and awareness for folks that had lost their home in Hurricane Michael. And then in the other one, we just really made our mark and let the world know that we're here to stay. It's exciting to know that basketball, the trajectory of it is just at its greatest in our school. Again, let's give it up for both our men and women's basketball. Speaking of being all over the news, obviously it was national news when God gave us our brand new football coach. I mean, just walking into the FBS at the highest level. Coach Freeze, where are you, sir? His whole family's here. Can you stand up? Can we just welcome him? Excited about the new season. We're all going to be there as we kick off the very beginning of the season. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Just such an honor to have him, a part of our Liberty family. It wasn't just athletics, it was also academics. A week after Lawnvo was done last year, we celebrated our largest graduating class in history, which included our very first medical school graduating class. Come on, give it up for that inaugural season. Several new leadership shifts happened for the better as well. We have 2 new provosts that are in the house. Can we welcome all this new leadership, several deans that God brought us, world high-class level leaders. Come on, let's give it up for all our academic leadership. In November, President Falwell announced a tuition freeze. I thought that was pretty exciting. I think that showed 2 things. It showed our financial stability as a university, and it also showed at the same time that there is every bit of compassion for you to make this, this transition into college world as a family in a more affordable way. Our law school just a few weeks ago was ranked 7th nationally in the bar passage rate. Come on. If you saw that list, I mean, we are sandwiched between Harvard and Yale. We beat Virginia. That's where, by the way, President Falwell got his law degree, Virginia. Should have gone to Liberty, Jerry. We had a lot of fun as well. Last week, by the way, Coffee House, which is always an annual event for us, biannual event. This was one of our best coffee house. Student Activities does such a great job. We had over 6,000 here for the Disney theme. Coffee House, Snowflex, the Equestrian Center, the new bowling alley. Everywhere you look, this is one of the funnest places to be. Christmas Convo, of course, was a highlight for us. Who didn't love Judd doing the Post Malone moment? So much fun. Every combo for us now is an opportunity to just have fun as well. Just yesterday, Jonah Mendez left, and we had her dress me and President Falwell and Becky incognito for us working at the Rot. And then this little moment happened. Some of you guys remember this little fun moment this semester.
I'm gonna bring my girlfriend up. Awesome, all right, you ready? All right, we're gonna do a card trick. Got a bunch of different cards here. I want you to go ahead, choose one. We're gonna put it right here in the middle. And we're gonna find your card in kind of a weird way, okay? Here, I have a lighter here. Can you do me a favor? Can you light the bottom of that? Emily Sherrick, will you marry me? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's magical. That's just magical. I met someone the other day, and they were with their girlfriend, and they were like, can we make our proposal happen on Convo stage? And I was looking at him, and I was looking at her, and she was just honestly so much more of like put together, and I was like, yeah, that won't be magical. That'll be a miracle. But that's how I felt, but that's not what I said, because that wouldn't be ministerial. Speaking of ministry, we had over 1,100 community group leaders who really ministered at the highest level we've ever seen. Come on, let's give it up for our RAs, our RDs, our RSs, our shepherds, and least of all, come on, the lieutenants in the Army, our community group leaders. You really lead well. We're so thankful for you. Every Wednesday night, just about every Wednesday night after campus community, we saw just so many people come to Christ, and I would just hear from these CGLs going, hey, we're having baptisms in the pool, and I'd be like, it's December, and it was just so much fun to see God move. Speaking of campus community, we did 2 series this year, 2 of our best series yet. We did the Broken Vessel series that we just completed. That was amazing to see God move. And then our 7 series, where we shot footage live in location in Turkey at the 7 churches of Revelation. And then we came here and we talked about what God has for us out of those 7 churches. And speaking of Turkey, during that series, it was timely that we were also praying for the release of Pastor Andrew Brunson. We wrote over 3,000 letters beckoning for his release and thanking Mr. Pompeo for his great work. And then we got to see those letters not just delivered, but come into fruition when he was released during this semester. Come on, that was amazing. Locally, Locally, we did so much ministry. We always do about 500,000 hours of service through CSER in this town. We're the biggest volunteer force in this town. But then also this year, we took it to new levels with Serve Lynchburg. 2,500 of you served Friday and Saturday, faculty, staff. It made national news. Let's watch this video about that event.
I'm here at Food for Thought today, just helping pack some bags for food insecure students all throughout Lynchburg, and I'm excited to be here.
Hi, I'm Vicki James. I'm the Director of Risk Management and Insurance at Liberty, and I'm having a really good time and excited to be with the LU Serve students out here at the Lynchburg Community Care Coalition.
Hi, so we were just at YWCA, and we were folding a bunch of women and children's clothes, and we pretty much, the ladies, we got baby fever now because all those baby clothes, but we had a lot of fun here at Serve Lynchburg.
Man, today, super hard work. We dug a lot today. We pretty much dug a foot into the ground so that we could lay pipes so that the water coming around the house could be basically taken out away from the house. So we spent about 3-4 hours doing this today. The guys worked super hard. We loved it. We enjoyed it. We dug entirely around the house. So yeah, I mean, it's great fun, and we did it right before the rain.
I'm Emily Wood. I'm here at Serve Lynchburg at Boonesboro Elementary, and we're having a lot of fun helping plant flowers around the campus.
Hey, my name is Kaylee Pendleton, and I'm a site leader here at Blue Ridge Community Church, and today we are out here serving alongside the members at Blue Ridge to help with their campus cleanup day. I think it's really important for all of us to be out here today because it teaches us how to humbly serve.
We're here at Camp Bell Parks and Rec, and right now we're shoveling up this grass on this volleyball court to make it another sand pit so people can come out and play on this this court. And we're basically here just to serve these people and serve this area to have people come out and have fun on these volleyball courts and just spreading the Lord's love and just serving Him.
Hey, I'm Kaylin Lucero. We're here with LU Serve at Leesville Road Elementary School. We have been mulching playgrounds today. We are super excited to give these kids a new safe environment where they're able to have a lot of fun. We are honored to be out here being the hands and feet of Jesus, and we just thank Leesville Elementary for allowing us to come out here.
Come on, give yourself a hand. Amazing. You know, all of this local work has not gone unnoticed by the city. Almost every day I run into someone from this town who is not officially associated as Liberty. They don't have a child who went to Liberty. They never attended this university, but they tell us all the time, I've seen the impact of it. They showed up at my house and helped clean up. They helped me at work. And so over and over again, just so thankful for you. As a matter of fact, President Falwell was recently recognized and inducted into the Regional Business Hall of Fame because of your great work in this city and your great impact as well. Domestically and internationally, we served as well at a new capacity. Our spring break trips were the highest capacity we've ever had. More of you went out internationally this year than ever before. Can we thank LU Send for making those trips not just more affordable, but safer and better experiences than ever before. During Easter, we went to Colombia and led at a Franklin Graham crusade that attaches right to our G5 that we announced this year, which will be Colombia. We're gonna send thousands and thousands of you. It will be by far the cheapest trip we've ever done, thanks to our partnerships that are gonna make it affordable. While our students were there leading, some of our worship collective students, they actually went to an Operation Christmas Child location where they dispersed boxes in Colombia. And that was ironic as well, because we broke this year, you broke this year the world record for most shoe boxes collected during Christmas time, nearly 5,000. Give yourself a hand. Amazing. Our humanitarian work has always been a part of what we do. This year, we went to 11 different LU Send Now trips. Those are heartbreaking because I wish that there's a day where we say we didn't do any because there was no tragedy, there was no earthquake, there was no flooding, there was no forest fire. But this year, we were not exempt from that. And so in the midst of tragedy, God always uses it for his glory and for his renown. Almost every one of those trips, we saw someone come to know the Lord. Our people went to serve, and then they got to share the gospel. If you served in one of those 11 trips this year, will you stand up? We want to recognize you and give you honor. Stand up. Thank you so much for all that you did. Amazing. It's interesting that we're here about an hour away from any major freeway in a town that's about 70,000 strong, but yet the world's influencers seem to come our way because of this particular thing called Convocation, which is the largest weekly gathering of young adults. Think about all the people that have come in the last year. We started the whole year off with award-winning gospel recording artist and worship leader Carrie Job, who did a one-day revival for us. Phil Wickham joined us this year. Jesus Culture and Bethel were with us this year. Shane and Shane came our way again this year. Tori Kelly did a concert for us. Drew and Ellie Holcomb came our way. It was good to have Toby Mack and his entire band show up to do combo for us. Hillsong New York came, and it was interesting. When Hillsong New York came, the man who wrote the biggest song in the world right now, the song that's being sung by more churches on the planet than any other song right now, was debuted to the world on our stage at Campus Community because they knew the influence of our world, and they also knew how much we love to worship. Come on, let's thank Hillsong New York. Another in the fire right now. Went worldwide, but it was released here. Just last week, we had Travis Green here for a one-day revival. Wasn't that amazing? Travis didn't just lead music. He opened God's Word and preached for us in the morning. And if you weren't a part of Campus Community last Wednesday as we ended the year, I got to tell you real quickly what happened. Travis led worship. I came up off the back end of one of his songs, spoke for about 10 minutes, and then we allowed the students to just lead. And you guys began to stand up and ask for prayer requests, and one after another. We took about an hour and a half and just prayed for one another, waged war for one another. Honestly, it was amazing to see students ministering to students. And this young lady got up, and those of you that were here, the 4,000 or 5,000 of you that were here, know this one lady got up and she said, look, I want you to pray for my family. We're on the brink of a bankruptcy as a family, and I know that God's gonna be a supplier and a provider, but I'm just kind of really worried for my mom and my dad and everything back home. And we just felt like impromptu, we wanted her to come down. We got a bucket out, we needed 3 buckets, and she just began to receive cash from students in the room that said, we want to be the answer to that prayer, and we want to maybe stop bankruptcy for your family. Well, there was so much being given, and students were going, I don't have cash, can I give on a Cash App? So I went to this young lady and I said, look, students want to give on a Cash App, but I have a question for you. I think your bills are met already with the cash that's been given. I'm just going to guess that. Would you mind if anything that's given on the Cash App instead goes to other people? And immediately that gave her an opportunity not just to be the biggest receiver, but to be the biggest giver. Because everything on the Cash App was being given in her honor for benevolence to other people. And she was so quick to say, absolutely. And it was amazing. And I got to give you the results of that. We raised $9,468 in cash, which met her bill. When Travis Green found that out, President Falwell, he said, oh, she's got $9,468. And he looked at me and he goes, this was backstage afterwards. He goes, I can't let my band not get in on that blessing of getting to give. And so they capped it off and made it an even $10,000 by writing a personal check. We brought her up. We brought Bree up and told her about it, and she called her parents to let them know about the $10,000. I've got like a 30-second video to show you when her mom and dad found out. It's pretty crazy because, you know, this is just such a support from your student body and what God's doing in through your life. So every student here tonight gave collectively $9,468.07. And then Travis said, when he heard that number, Travis said, man, that's just like, my team's gonna do more. So from this team, Travis has some news for you.
Yeah, so we're gonna, it's 9,400. We're gonna round that up to 10,000.
So that's the band. Isn't that good? My bad, I thought we were gonna show the other part of it. When she called her mom, it was so fun. She called her mom, and her mom was watching like Matlock, and she was like, hey baby, hold on, let me turn down Matlock. It was awesome. And she told her mom and dad, and I'm telling you, it just affirmed she had an insanely godly mom and dad, and he was like, we were not worried at all. We felt like God was this is such an affirmation. By the way, this is a spiritual leader on this campus who's been putting in and putting in. She's been making deposits all along, and now it's good for us to be able to give back to her. We're so proud of her. Bree, congratulations. On top of the 9,400, listen to this. You guys gave nearly 10,000 in the Cash App, and we've been writing checks and meeting benevolence needs because of that. Give yourself a hand. $20,000 raised last week. Beyond music, God brought us some of the highest level athletic leaders in the world. Brandon Boykin, NFL star, was with us. Ben Zobrist came our way, brought his wife. She spoke to our women leaders the night before Convo. NASCAR superstar Jimmy Johnson came our way, obviously with our own leaders. And that was an amazing thing. We had the race here. President Falwell won. Yankee legend Andy Pettitte came our way. And so it was amazing. World leaders like John Maxwell came to start off our semester. John Maxwell, by the way, was with the FBI doing training the day before, left us and went to Dubai to hang out with the king and to train his government leaders. And so good that he had time for us in between that. We had the Better Business panel. We had Dr. Tony Nobles, who came our way, who's gonna be a partner with us next semester. Mike Lindell, the creator of the MyPillow, came our way. And I think a highlight there was when he got to lay his head on the softest pillow. Come on, Lou Wider's belly, everybody. That was a highlight. As far as actors and entertainers, the great Gary Sinise came our way. Superman himself, Dean Cain, came our way. Arm wrestled my boss. It was awesome. Comedians Bob Smiley, Michael Jr., SNL legend Joe Piscopo came our way. When Candace Cameron Bure came our way, she shared the gospel. Check this out. She shared the gospel as she was kind of giving her testimony. And at the end of it, we posted that little 60-second gospel presentation on Facebook Live. It went worldwide. 3 million people liked it and viewed it. Let's watch this highlight moment from last semester.
A little girl's looking at a white sheep as it ate green grass, and she thought how nice and white the sheep looked as it ate the green grass. And then it began to snow, and she thought how dirty the sheep looked against the white snow. But it was the same sheep, but it was a different background. So when we compare our sin to the standard of the world, we all come up reasonably clean. But when we compare our sin to the snow white righteousness of God's law, we'll see that we are filthy dirty.
It's a powerful moment. Man. We're certainly favored in that we are a landing spot for political leaders on both sides of the aisle. We had multiple leaders from the Republican side and the Democratic side that came our way. Sean Spicer came our way. Dinesh D'Souza came our way. Pete Hegseth came our way. We got to host a satellite for CPAC this year. Come on, give yourself a hand. That is a national stage that we got to be a part of. Donald Jr. was here, and of course, First Lady Melania Trump. That's the biggest guest we've ever had. The current First Lady of the United States being here. So much of that is afforded to us because of our relationship as a university with the world leaders, because of President Falwell and Becky. We also had great preachers. Franklin Graham did our Global Focus Week. Tyler Staton came our way. Remember when Tyler was here? God spoke to him in the morning and night, and then we did a sunrise service impromptu, and we had a 6 a.m. sunrise service in here, and we watched 3,000 of us just worship our way into the day at 6 a.m. Ed Young Jr. came our way, Jim Cymbala came our way, Rich Wilkerson Jr., Louis Giglio, Nick Vujicic, Tim Lee, Gary Chapman. You remember when Francis Chan came and he was supposed to speak 2 times? But he did a midnight service on top of all that. And that night, check this out. This was people ask me, what was the highlight for you? That night at Campus Community, we saw 207 students come to know Jesus Christ as their Lord and as their Savior. We also had a lot of authors that came our way. This has become a place where authors during release week come because they know this is a big stage that gets a lot of attention. Judge Janine came our way. The great Alan Dershowitz came our way. Karen Kingsbury, Bob Goff came our way. When Bob was here, he gave out 10,000 gumballs on your way out. That was a whole lot of fun. Jordan Peterson was our guest. And I'll just say this, in moments like that, when people look back at this year, there's all the guests that we had, what I like to call invited guests that we had. I think the one that stood out the most for us was possibly the one guest who wasn't invited to be on stage, but jumped on stage during Dr. Peterson's visit. We've had a couple of months to look back, a couple of weeks to look back on that event and that incident. And I want to say just a few things to you in closing as your campus pastor before President Falwell comes up. And I think it can be best summed up in what I've seen in the last 2 weeks since David came on stage to go through what he's gone through. When David jumped on stage, he wasn't a Liberty student, but he was associated with Liberty because he was invited by a Liberty student to come and be a part of Convocation because he was a Peterson fan. And when David jumped on stage, he was crying out for help. People ask me, like, what was going through your mind? They watched the video, and I'm, like, walking towards him, and they thought, wow, you had it so put together. I'll tell you, there was fear and confusion in my mind. There was, I didn't know what was going to happen. And so I don't want you to think like we had it all together. And I remember David saying, I need help. And as soon as I heard the words, I need help, because of who you are, because of what Liberty's all about, because of the leadership that we have, I got to write a check with my mouth instantly to him that I knew wouldn't bounce. David said, I need help. And instantly, the first thing that came to my mind was, man, you're in the right place if you need help. And the reason that I got to say that, people have asked me why I said that. That was the first thing that I said, is because I know over and over and over and over and over and over again, whenever someone needs help around here, people step in. This is the kind of place where if you need help, God's people will say, if you need a helper, I'm here for you. David was taken not to jail, he was taken to the hospital, and we found out that he was bipolar. I'm only sharing things that he's given me permission to share, and that his medication was not taken properly and his emotions had gotten the best of him. But a local church here, a powerful local church here, has stepped into his life and has been walking alongside of him. Our university has been financially assisting in some ways, but that church has taken the biggest load of it. And we're walking with David every step of the way. But that wasn't just an impact in the life of David. That was an impact in the life of Dr. Peterson. That's one of the most intellectual, quick-witted human beings alive today. And it got him sideways. He didn't see that coming. But he was blown away. He was blown away by your compassion. He was blown away by your kindness. He was blown away by the way that our school treated him. And honestly, the Spirit of the Lord was the biggest witness to him. Just about everywhere that Dr. Peterson goes, as far as college environments, he sees a lot of hostility. But your hospitality showed Jesus to Dr. Peterson. And we say a lot of words to him about how he needs the ruler, how he wants the kingdom without the king. But at the end of the day, all that is just doctrine and theology talk until he gets around a bunch of believers who are believable. And over again, we have had guests walk up here on this stage this semester who don't share our faith, and they have been dumbfounded by your witness and your testimony, students. Students, listen to me. It's not just the guests that come here that are lost. Dr. Peterson's Convocation went worldwide. People in Melbourne, Australia watched it in their Psych 101 classes. I heard from people all over the world who watched that, many of them not Christians, and they heard the gospel because they watched the songs that were played by the worship collective. They watched the things that were said in the conversation, and more than anything else, in between what was said, they watched what was not said about David. Thank you for the witness that you've been. We've done a lot of things, but honestly, so many times it's about what you don't say, the kindness that you do show, the things that go unnoticed. I'm so proud to be able to be in this with you. I'm just a tour guide. You guys are the heroes, but I gotta tell you, I'm so proud of the university that I get to serve in because of the students and the leadership that I get to be a part of. You guys continue not just to minister to them, you continue to minister to me. I don't know about you, but this has been, to me, one of the greatest years of my life. Can we give God all the glory for all that he's done? Man. None of what we do is possible without the leadership of the Falwell family, their commitment to you. And when I say Falwell family, they really do lead as a bit of a power couple on this campus. I just love my boss. I think that he believes in you and he believes in ministry. There's never been a moment when I've come to him advocating for one of you where he hasn't not just said yes, but he's gone above and beyond. And he seems to really, really care about your welfare and wants to raise you up to be champions at the highest level. Can we just thank President Falwell as we welcome him on stage?
Whoa. I was paying attention to everything you said, David, even though I looked distracted. I wasn't. But Virginia, do you want to say anything to the students? Say something. You want to talk? Oh, well. At least play the piano here. No, push these. What? You sure you don't want to talk? Say something. Yell. All right, whatever. Anyhow. That's their moms right there, Laura and Sarah. Y'all come up and help her with the baby, please. Come on up. They won't come up. But Wesley, he just sat down so I wouldn't recognize him. That's my son. But I just want to say something about David. And Trey's here too, I think. Yeah, there he is. But we are so blessed to have David Nasser. This year, all these... And not just because of the speakers he's brought in. Oh.
And his lovely wife.
I was going to say that.
Okay.
Did you just interrupt me again?
I'm a talker, not a listener. I've told you that before. No, but Jennifer, she's right. Jennifer, when we have guests come to Liberty, the green room was all decorated by Jennifer and David, mostly Jennifer, but they give gifts to the speakers.
David's brother, Benji.
That's Benji.
We all love him, and
Yeah.
David's dad is beside him.
And David's father. Yep. But it's not just the speakers he's brought in, but it's all the creative ideas, all the things that make Convo fun. It used to be like a chapel service where you'd have just a traditional church service almost, and he's brought in speakers from all walks of life. That was the goal from the beginning, to have leaders from all walks of life come in, and nationally prominent leaders, and help our kids understand what it takes to go from where you are to where you want to be. And he's done it in a way that nobody else could have done it. I've nicknamed him P.T. Barnum. I don't know if you remember the Barnum and Bailey Circus, but P.T. Barnum was known for bringing in things that made the show exciting, and he's a pro at that. My father, that's how he built the church. Today, I was going to go through. I wanted you guys to know a little bit about the history of Liberty and about what it used to be, because all you see is what it is now, and it's so different than it was in the beginning. And so Harold and Mark, come up here for a second. But Harold and Mark. But Mark Hine. But last night, I'm gonna do this next semester, but last night, I got my people to work for hours pulling together videos from 1936, which we actually have, pulling together photographs from my family lived on Liberty Mountain starting in 1834, all the old photographs, and then video and some pictures of Liberty as it was, not like it is now. And so we're going to show a few of those, but I'm going to go through the whole history at a future convocation, but because I got a text this morning, I don't know where my phone went, from Liberty Champion. They said they wanted me to answer the question. What was it? Somebody tell me. Yeah.
Yes, sir, right here.
Yeah, the Champion wanted me to answer, what word of wisdom would you like to be able to go back in time and tell your college-age self? And they're going to print the answers up in the final issue of the year. And I think what I'd like to say to all of you guys, and what I'd like to say to myself if I was your age, is just don't underestimate what God can do with your life. If you when you hear the story of how Liberty came from nothing to where it is today, you'll see how God can use somebody who is the most unlikely person to do something big, and that's true for every one of you. Harold Knowles was here back in the 1950s, and he and my father were friends starting in what year? 1952. Come up here, Harold. But he told me a story. My father was from a business family. They had businesses, hotels, nightclubs, gas stations. I mean, just anything. Nobody ever would have expected a preacher to come from that family. He used his oil company, his gas stations, to deliver moonshine liquor for the people out in the county that made it. He was a distributor. And there were some tragedies that happened that led to his early death, and that was the reason I think my father, a few years later, became a Christian. Right. But Harold told me, tell him what you told me about after he became a Christian and started a church, about your skepticism about how can a Falwell be a pastor of a church. Remember saying that?
I do. Well, first of all, I think I'm overdressed. Well, we met Dr. Falwell when he came down the aisle at Park Avenue Baptist. And my mother said it was just another trick of the Falwells to get people to come in to spend money at the nightclubs and the gas stations and so forth. But then Mom became a great fan of Dr. Falwell's. But most unlikely person to become a pastor would be Jerry. Once Jerry got saved at Park Avenue Baptist, and within several months, Jerry, he became youth pastor. And I guess Dr. Donaldson saw that the potential in Jerry, the great leader he was. And then he took me, I'd like to say this real quick, he took me down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to Tennessee Temple. I was just very starting, and we met Dr. Lee Robinson, and Thomas Road was just starting in '56, and Dr. Robinson met him after church and put his hands on his shoulder, and Jerry said, Dr. Robinson, if God allows me, I'll have what you have here. We had 4,000 in church there, 5,000 students at Liberty, at Tennessee Temple. I forgot all about St. Liberty so much. And he put his hand on Jerry and said, if you allow me, to God, if you allow me, Lord, I'll have what's here. He came back to Lynchburg, got up on a hillside at Madison Heights, which overlooks James River, and prayed, God, I'll be faithful if you'll give me Lynchburg for Christ. Not only did he give it Lynchburg, he gave him the world.
And Harold has been here. He's been working in our development department for
41 years.
41 years, and he works with people who help the university every day. And he's a lot older than he looks. I promise you that.
Thanks a lot.
But thank you, Harold. But you know, it was really a series of tragedies that resulted in my father's father dying young and him becoming a Christian. But once he became a Christian and started a church, he took his background, his family's background in business, and he became entrepreneurial. And he did a lot of what David's been doing this semester. He brought in the world's strongest man. He brought in all these country music stars. He brought in well-known pastors, and he built the church from nothing to thousands of people in just a matter of 10 or 12 years. And then he started Liberty. My mom said, don't do it. It's too risky. You're going to lose everything. It's going to go broke. And she was partly right. It almost did. I worked with him for 20 years. I was the general counsel, and I was in the back room trying to negotiate with creditors, and he and I were the only ones that knew how tough things were. And we somehow found a way to get people to loan us money and give us money to make payroll for the checks that had already gone out. But when the college started, it didn't have a campus. And so I've got some pictures to show you what Liberty was when it started, and then what it was just a few years ago. You won't believe it. So whoever's going to do the slideshow, go ahead and start it. One of the places Liberty used for a campus was Treasure Island in the middle of the James River, and that's where the football team practiced. I'm working on a plan now to get it so we can get boat access to the island so you guys can go over and explore what's left of it. There was a big fire that burned a lot of that down, but it's there was an old rickety bridge that it wouldn't even hold the buses. The buses had to stop at the bridge, let the students walk across, then the bus could come across. It wouldn't hold a bus full of students. And so I just want you to see how well you have it compared to what it used to be. And then there was an old hotel downtown. It's been fixed up lately, but it was in bad repair, the Virginian Hotel where the dorms were. This is what it looked like. And I don't know if you have any inside pictures or not, Sam. Yeah, there it is. It was a nice old hotel, but it was run down, and students had to be bused from that dorm to the island to an old public high school that was the classroom building. If you got pictures of the old Brookville High School, that's where Heritage is now, and that's where Liberty had its classes in the 1970s. And that's Ed Heinsohn. He doesn't look much different, does he? He just texted me, by the way. Ben Gutierrez just told me last night that he'll become the president of Lancaster Bible College on July 1st. He's leaving us, and so I congratulated him. And Ben, we'll miss you, but we're so happy for your new opportunity. And then going forward, do we have pictures of what the campus looked like a few years ago? Oh wait, first the DC-3. Give me my water. All right, that plane, I spent a good bit of my time when I was a kid traveling around on that 1943 DC-3 with a group of students who were in a singing group called the LBC Chorale. And we went from city to city, city auditoriums, churches, just telling everybody about the new college that we're starting here in Lynchburg. So I've really worked here since the 70s. I was a little kid. I sold records in the back of the auditoriums. And, but I want to show you the campus like it was when I was here and like it was just a few years ago. That's not a very good one. Go to the next one. Still no good. All right, now go back to the tent. That was the Vine Center when I came to Liberty. And that's where they had the big classrooms. That's where they had it was called chapel back then, but that's it right there. And if it was cold, it was just cold. And there's one picture that shows that tent was sitting where DeMoss is now, but there's another picture that shows the classroom buildings behind it. Those are some of the classroom buildings where the lawn is now. They've been torn down the last few years. Keep going. This is what the campus looked like when I was here. There was no football stadium. There was no Vine Center. The far left of the screen is where Vine Center is now. And no, this is after I left. This has got the first floor of DeMoss, which was built in 1985. I left here in 84 to go to law school. Keep going. Got anything else? I think we covered it. I just wanted you to see how spoiled you are, okay? But I also wanted you to see how no matter how humble your beginnings are and how difficult a period of your life that you go through after you leave here, that God can do something huge in the end. And so you have to remain faithful, you have to work hard, you just have to believe. And so that's my little word of encouragement before, and we got one more thing. My daughter turns 19 today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Stand up, Caroline.
Stand up, Caroline.
Caroline.
Stand up. Stand up. Here, Sam's gonna take her the flowers. And then
Can we sing happy birthday real quick?
Yeah.
Come on. You guys ready? I'll start it. Ready? Happy birthday, Caroline.
Happy birthday, Caroline. We love you.
I forgot about Mark Hine. Mark came here when we had Treasure Island and the hotel. You got any stories you want to tell about those days?
You're blowing my cover.
All right, go for it. He's been here ever since, but.
I tell people all the time that Liberty has changed a lot over the years, all for the better. But the one thing that has remained constant is the Spirit of Christ in this place. That's what makes us special. And I think I can't help but walk around here and continuously be absolutely amazed at what one man's faith and obedience and vision could do in a place. And it was a privilege to work for Doc Sr. It's a privilege now to work for his son. I don't believe I'll be around long enough to work for his grandson. Sooner or later, I'm going to go to the house. But I love this place. This place truly transformed my life, and I love watching it do the same thing in the lives of so many thousands of people. It's just a real privilege.
Well, it's been a privilege for me to work with you, Mark, and he's always found a way to find a good balance between the code of conduct and making sure kids can enjoy their experience in college. And he and I are always the ones that find a way to give a kid a second, a third, a fourth chance. And so my dad was like that too.
Yes, he was.
Because we all need second, third, and fourth chances. But Becky is having the most fun. You're talking about this being the best year. It's been her best year too because of the grandkids. And she couldn't resist showing you guys a video of her grandkids.
I'll show you one little video. We had Virginia and Reagan on the stage today. Sorry for the distraction. But that was unplanned, but I did want y'all to see how much the babies love each other.
Oh, look, that's so cute. Look, Reagan's arms around her. Look, Reagan. Hi. They're so cute. Hi. Okay.
What is that?
This is so precious. Reagan, how thrilled are you with those? Such a... Okay. Okay. Are you done? Are you done? Give her one more kiss. Look at her, Pat. Oh, good girl. Okay, Reagan. Okay. All done? Look at her. We love you. Okay.
Future Liberty students right there. All right, David.
We're done? Is this it? Hey, one more time, can we thank our president and our first lady? We're so blessed to have them. They're amazing leaders.